All right. Looks like we're live now. So, normal process. We'll get disclaimers out of the way and then we'll jump into it. This is a weekly live broadcast pretty much every Thursday evening, 7 o'clock Central Time. This is where I am, and you can come in here. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I do my best to respond to every chat that comes in during the broadcast itself while it's live. And then, so it's really, like I said, whatever you want to talk about. Just keep it friendly, family friendly, polite. Don't be hateful, rude. Don't start cussing at us, anything like that. We can have good debates. We can be differences of opinions, but there's no reason to get all hateful and rude about it. So let's jump into it. Hang on, let me adjust this camera just a little bit. I think it's there we go. I think that's maybe not any better. Maybe it's the same, but it doesn't matter. We're good. So we got Joy Guthrie here. Says from hello from Western Oregon. Good to see you. Chester Hickman. Good to see you as well. David Lister from the Callister Quail Trail. That's a word mouthful to get out. Good to see you too. Buck Reynolds says hello to everyone. Hope all are doing well. Well, hopefully you are too. I am. Thank you. A little tired, a little worn out. I've been doing a lot of brush cleanup. You guys probably saw my video on Monday. All the storm blew down a tree and all kinds of brush. I've been doing a lot of that, so I'm a little worn out by this time, but I'm okay. I haven't been doing that this evening. I don't really have a good excuse. I'm just worn out. It's catching up to me, but I'm doing well. David DeBarge says hello from West Plains, Missouri. I have been to West Plains. It's a little ways from me, but I've been there before. Hello to you. Thanks for joining us. Jacob Wolf, good to see you. Joshua, hello. Silver Creek Wildlife, hello to you too. And David, the Desert Homestead says hello, everybody, from Josh in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm probably going to forget that you're Josh, but that's okay. Hello to you too. Joanne says, join from Crestview, Florida. So we got people from all over the place here tonight. We got almost 20 people, 19 people here right now. We need some chats to come in because, as always, I do not have any kind of topic planned. Nothing to talk about until chats start coming through and I have something to respond to. So I could sit here, I guess, in awkward silence, or I can just ramble on for a few minutes and hopefully some chats start coming through. I say this every time. I need to come up with something to talk about when, the chat's not coming through, at least not coming through regularly, so I can fill the dead air. But I have not done that. So hello to everyone, says George Kaiser. Good to see you, George. Thanks for joining us tonight. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about the cleanup we're doing right now. And you guys probably saw the video. You know that we had a whole tree, half a tree anyway, blown down, big one. And then a lot of little other stuff that was kind of blown down around the back of my other lot. I got all that little section back behind, like my pawpaw tree by my plum trees. That's all cleaned up. Got all that taken care of and started working on the tree on the other lot. But so far, I've just kind of really cleared out a lot of the stuff around it. I haven't really gotten up into the tree. I mean, it took that long. I've got probably at least a rick worth of firewood cut. I don't have a fireplace, so I'm gonna have to find somebody that needs it and, give it to them, I guess. At least a rick worth of firewood and a brush pile that is, I don't know how tall it is. It's probably 10 foot tall, and it's probably, I don't know, 20 foot around, maybe. It's a pretty good sized brush pile right now. I did go out Wednesday. Wednesdays are, So Tuesday evening, I went out there and cut a whole bunch of the brush that was in the brush pile down to 4 foot sections, bundle it up in bundles of around 40 pounds roughly, because the trash will pick those up. So I did, about 7 or 8 of those, I think, and threw them out with the trash. So made a dent in the brush pile, but not a significant dent because there's still quite a bit there and it's still too much for me to burn. All right, let's jump into it. We got a couple of chats to respond to here. We got David here, says, spent 3 years in Eglin and loved it. Eglin? Talking to somebody else. Oh, okay. Talking to Joanne. That must be a place in Florida. Did I miss you, Joanne? I'm not sure if I said hello to you or not. Crestview, Florida, I probably did. But either way, hello again if I didn't. And then we got Big Ross says, so I was pushing my shopping cart through Walmart today and thought, you know what? This would make a good rolling quail pen for the garage. For in the garage, yeah. A good rolling, the shopping cart itself, huh? I've seen people use shopping carts for other things, but I never thought of using them for a quail cage, but hey, why not? Lenora says hello to me and everyone. Hello to you too. There's Warchild. Good to see you. Jacob Wolf says, Chris, what do you think is the most important thing to tell or to teach some first-time rabbit owners? I only have 2 more weeks with my kits until they go to their new homes. So the most important things to tell or teach first-time rabbit owners. Don't overfeed them. I think that's probably one that everybody's going to make a mistake. If they're planning on breeding, I don't know if that's part of the deal or not, but make sure you explain. You always take the doe to the buck. You don't want to take the buck to the doe. You do want to keep them separate so you don't get unplanned breeding happening. And don't overfeed them. Feed them just as much as they'll eat within 24 hours, roughly around 8 ounces a day. But watch your rabbits. If they act like they're super hungry whenever you go to feed them, give them just a little bit more. If there's food left over, give them just a little bit less. You'll kind of figure that out pretty quickly about how much they'll eat in a day. I've got one rabbit that eats a little bit less than the rest, and I've got one that eats a little bit more than the rest. And it's pretty consistent that way. I think those are probably the 2 most important things. The only other thing, I guess, would be a common issue with them is ear mites. So let them know to check their ears pretty regularly. And if they have scabs in their ears, use some food-grade oil. You can get, a airdropper and drop a few drops in there, or what I prefer is actually the spray kind, the aerosol. You can just spray it in their ear. It's a little bit easier, I think, to do. They tend to shake their heads whenever you get anything near their ear, and it knocked the eardropper out of the eyedropper out of my hand plenty of times doing that. So I think those would be, and tell them not, don't scrub the scabs out, just a couple of drops of oil in their ear every day until the scabs are gone, and then continue that for about another 4 or 5 days after that. David says, learned my lesson in my first hatch. Never trust your incubator temperature and humidity. Both of mine were way off, which affected my hatch greatly. Yeah, the temperature is really more important than the humidity, but you're right. Never trust either one of them. Honestly, the humidity is not that big of a deal. When you go into lockdown, it's a little bit more important, but you got a pretty good range there. I mean, if you can get it between 70 and like 80% humidity, you're going to be fine at lockdown. Before that, depends on your climate a little bit, what your humidity, your relative humidity in the air is outside. But really you only need like a 50 to 60, honestly, if you're anywhere between about 45 and 70% up until lockdown, you're going to be fine. So it's not as big of a deal, but you're right. It is important to make sure you don't trust the incubator only, because they are notorious for being not quite right, not reading temperature quite correctly. So it's always good. I always say get 2 extra thermometers, calibrate them, make sure they're accurate, put them in your incubator. That way you have 3 between the incubator and the 2 thermometers. You have 3 points, and if any 2 of those are reading the same, you can pretty much bet that's the temperature, and you can adjust to that. Joanne says, I am new, concerned with quail fighting. What do you do when they start? We're fine for 5 months and now down to 5. Okay, so it sounds like you're having some big issues with, I don't know how many you started with, but it sounds like they're more than just fighting. You're having some issues with them actually killing the other birds. So in that case, what I would do is try to find the aggressor. Usually it's just one bird. Try to find the aggressor and eat it. Put it in the freezer, because that's the best way to kind of fix that. If they've been together, you say that they were fine for 5 months and now down to 5. Yeah, you've probably just got one bird. It's probably a hen. Seems to be like the hens tend to be the most aggressive. Check your rooster to hen ratio. Make sure you don't have too many roosters in there. That can cause some issues as well, because they'll be overbreeding, competing for the hens, and that could be an issue. So for 5 birds, you only need 1 rooster. 1 rooster for every 4 to 5 hens. Somewhere right around in there. And if you had way more than that, then that could be some of the issue you had with the aggression. I'm not sure what color birds you have. I've noticed that, to me, it seems like, in my experience anyway, the jumbo pharaoh have been kind of the most docile and easy to deal with. Whereas, like, when I had white birds, which a lot of people call the Texas A&M, they're not necessarily Texas A&M, but that's what they call them. The white, the all white. They tend to be more aggressive in my experience. Now, I don't know if everybody's going to experience that, if that's the same. It's been a while since I've kept them. But I've noticed that any of the kind of specialty colors, I had more issues with aggression with them than I ever have with the jumbo pharaohs. I very seldom have any kind of aggression issues now. Very seldom. But, everybody's a little bit different. So hopefully that helps a little bit. If not, continue the conversation. Let me know we're talking about the aggressive birds, because I'll talk to several people between now and then. I'll forget what we're talking about. But we'll continue the conversation. We can talk more about it if there's more information you need, or something else that, maybe it's not quite right. Andy says, hello, Chris and everybody from Middleville, Michigan. It was a beautiful summer day today. Well, awesome. Hello to you too, by the way. It's been really nice around here. We've been below normal temperatures for like a week and a half, which was nice because I had to do a lot of chainsaw work. I still have a whole lot to do, and we're supposed to be getting hot again next week, like up to 100. So I don't want to be out there running a chainsaw at 100 degrees, but I need to get that tree out of the tree that it's in. I need to cut it down so get it all on the ground. It'll be a lot easier to deal with at that point. Right now, it's all still, a whole bunch of it's still up in the air. I don't want to be out there under it, cutting other stuff. So I need to get it down. Anyway, Scrap 5000 says, what's up, y'all? Greetings from New York City. Smash the like button. Well, thank you. Yeah, we got 13 likes out of 21 people. So we're going all right. David Lister says, Chris, note Elgin AFB is outside of Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Okay, that doesn't really help me much because I'm not really sure where Fort Walton Beach is, but I was right. It's in Florida, so I was partially right anyway. Thanks for clarifying, though. I appreciate that. G. Michael Jr. says, says, hey, all. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing well. Hopefully you are, too. We got Joanne. Joanne says 20. Oh, this is about you started with 20 and now you're down to 5. This is about the aggressive quail. I actually kept up with it this time. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what that means. You have to give me a little bit more of a clue, but that's okay. So you started with 20 birds, I'm assuming, and now you're down to 5. So you've lost 15 birds. That's a lot. Are you sure it's the quail that are doing that and you're not having something else getting in the pen and, a raccoon or something like that? Raccoon would probably kill them all, but, still. Yeah, that's a whole lot of loss. I'm sorry to hear that. I wish I, had a lot better advice, but again, I would look for the bird that's the aggressive one, because chances are it's one, maybe 2 at the most. And it's probably a hen. Maybe not. It could be the rooster, but it's probably a hen. Marty says, hello to everyone. Hello to you too. Jam and Mike. Hi all. Hello to you. Marty says, question, can you trim overgrown? I can't read it because it's right there at the bottom. I got to fix that. So I can't. I'm assuming that's talking about their nails, right? Overgrown nails on rabbits. Yes, you can absolutely. Or is it teeth? Maybe trim teeth. I've seen videos about that. Trimming rabbit teeth. It just makes me quiver to think of doing that. You can absolutely do that. You're asking about teeth on rabbits. I personally, if you have a rabbit, give them something to chew on, like a piece of wood. Make sure it's get a branch off like a maple tree or red bud or something like that. Look up what's safe for rabbits, or you can get like a pine 2x4 non-treated. Throw it in there, give them something to chew on, keep their teeth worn down a little bit. But if you're having issues with rabbits, teeth overgrowing, I think I would process that rabbit and look for a replacement for it, because that's a genetic condition that you don't necessarily want to pass on. You should not have to trim your rabbit's teeth. It can be done. Look up, how to do it. But I don't know. That makes me, like I said, kind of gives me the chills thinking about it. But yes, it could be done. Then we got S.O. Swanson. Greetings from Mississippi. Greetings to you too. Lenora says, hey, Chris, do you ever experience rats or mice climbing in your quail cages? Not that I know of. I've never seen a rat or a mouse in the quail cage. I mean, I'm sure it's possible. I don't know if they could get in right now because I've fixed all the little gaps and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible they could. But I've never seen one in there. Of course, I have a pretty good sized black snake that's been hanging around. I haven't seen a mouse, period, in a long time. So, all right. Marty says, I have 2 sticks in the cages. Okay. Oh, we're talking about your rabbit with the overgrown teeth. You have sticks in. Yeah. Unfortunately, to me, it sounds like a genetic issue. Like it's almost like a deformity in a sense, to where they overgrow their teeth. That's not common at all with rabbits. And depending on how bad they are, like I said, I think I would process the rabbit and look for a replacement, because I wouldn't want to, that's not something I want to. Same thing with sore hocks. If you've got a rabbit with sore hocks, they're going to be prone to sore hocks no matter what you do. And I personally would just, call that rabbit and look for a replacement. I think it's easier to do than to have to constantly deal with that. But again, look up. You said chew sticks in the cages. I figured it out. It should have been chew sticks instead of two sticks, right? Maybe, I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. You've got sticks in the cages, so you're doing everything right. It just does sound like there's a genetic issue with the rabbit. I don't know. Is it multiple rabbits, or is it just the one that has that issue? Let's see. Jacob Wolf says, I give my rabbits pine cones once a month as long as they don't have kits to help their teeth. They have pine trees on our property, so they're cheap and effective. That would work. I don't have any pine trees. I do have redbud, though, and I do, cut redbud branches for them, and throw those in there for them occasionally. Most any fruit tree is going to be okay. There are certain ones you want to stay away from, certain trees and certain woods, but you can look up a list of that. That's pretty easy. Who's this? Patrick E. from Montreal, Canada. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Scrap 5000 wants to know if I contacted the Super Handy yet for the plucker. I have not. I don't have a use for it right this minute, so I've kind of waited. I probably should do that. I'm sorry. I've got the information down. I just haven't done it. I need to. Marty says, thank you. Well, you're absolutely welcome. And wish I had better news for you. But especially if it's just one rabbit, that sounds like the issue to me. Lenora says, I just moved my quail to the garage, and I saw a mouse in the cage eating my quail. Eating your quail, huh? I also see more flies than when they were outside. Yeah, well, part of that I think is because they're inside, so you're going to notice it more probably. I don't know if there's actually more flies or not, but a mouse in there eating the quail, that's unusual. I do have some really good mouse traps in my Amazon shop. Here, let me see if I can find it. I'll post a link to it real quick for you. Let's see if I can get it real quick. Yeah, they're the first thing in my Amazon shop. So the Ultra, here, I'll just post a link to my Amazon shop. And you can go there, and I do earn a commission if you buy from there. So if that bothers you, look it up on your own. It's okay. Doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But you can look that up. And let's see, where was I in the chat? There we go. Back to Lenore. Okay, gotcha. So anyway, those mouse traps are fantastic, and they're closed in. The way they work is they have a 9-volt battery that goes inside. You put a pea-size amount of like peanut butter or something at the front of that, and there's a metal plate. And when the mouse goes across that, there's a little opening on the side they can get in. When they go across that metal plate, it electrocutes them, and they just look like they're sleeping. There's no blood. It's not a mess. It flashes whenever it goes off, so you'll know that you've got a mouse in there. You don't have to worry about your dogs getting into it or anything like that. It's not like a snap trap. They work great, and the batteries last forever. So anyway, I would use that to try to keep them under control and see if that helps. I've never had that issue, so I can't really speak to it other than that. Hopefully, that doesn't happen again. David says, Chris, what causes crooked neck? I think we're talking about in quail, I'm guessing, wry neck. And are we talking about chicks, or are we talking about older birds? Because there's a difference. Clarify that for me. Are we talking about quail? Are we talking about chicks? Are we talking about older birds? And then I could probably give you an answer, a little bit more clear answer on that one. Scrap 5000 says, LOL, don't be sorry. No. Well, I'm sorry I haven't followed through on what I know you've put some work into it for me. I'm sorry I haven't followed through on that, but I'll do it. Marty says, 2 of the kits, they look really freaky. Marty says 2 of the kits. What are we talking about? Oh, the rabbits with the overgrown teeth, right? So it's two of the kits. They have overgrown teeth. Yeah, as long as they're eating just fine, just grow them out to normal size and go ahead and process them. I'm assuming they're for meat, so it's not a big deal. But I mean, that's probably some kind of genetic thing that's passed on. I don't know if that's ever been an issue before or not. Who knows? If you continue to see that, I definitely would not keep them for breeders if that was your plan. And if you continue to see it, then it's probably some kind of genetic trait passed on by one of the parents. It's hard to know which one for sure. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, I have quail hatching as we speak. Haven't counted them yet, but I think about 25 or so. Well, awesome. Congratulations. Hopefully hopefully they all hatch, which probably won't happen, but that would be nice, wouldn't it? Patrick says that I agree, get another rabbit. It happens, Mark. Yeah, that's what I would normally say. These are kits, so I'm guessing you're growing them out for meat, so not a big deal. You can just, as long as they're eating fine, just let them grow out and process when it's time. Buck says, put a salt block in your cage. All rabbits teeth grows at all the, put a salt block in your cage. All rabbits' teeth grows all the time. Some grow faster than others. They do, but what's the salt block for? Why would you need a salt block for that? How would that help with the teeth? I'm not following. There may be something to it. I just don't know. Jacob says, I got a thermocube from Amazon today. I'm putting my rabbit's fans on it. It kicks on at 78 degrees and turns off at 70. I love my other one in winter for water heaters. Yeah, that's a great idea. I don't have electricity out to my rabbit hutches, or I might run some fans. But honestly, they do just fine out there under the tree cover and the shade and all that. It's not a big deal. David says, yes, quail chick. We're talking about crooked neck. Okay, that's called wry neck. And quail chicks, normally, now, there's a couple of different things that could cause wry neck in your birds. Chances are these are probably birds that just hatched. And my guess would be they're birds that hatched late. So normally, whenever I see issues like splayed leg or wry neck, it's usually birds that hatch really late compared to the rest of the hatch. That could be because your incubator temperature is off just a little bit, causing them to develop a little bit slower. They don't get their muscles stretched out enough to be able to, causes those two issues anyway. Most of the time, it's birds that are hatching late that have those issues. Now, there could be a vitamin deficiency, but that's unlikely the case if it's a chick. If we're talking about an older bird, then it would be like a thiamine deficiency, I think, or vitamin E, maybe both. I can't remember exactly one of those two, but that's unlikely the case, especially in a chick, a young chick. So if you're having that issue with young chicks, I would say if it's a consistent issue, if you're getting it a lot, check your incubator like we talked about earlier. Put some thermometers in there. Verify that your incubator is incubating at the right temperature. And you may need to adjust it just a little bit to get them to hatch out a little bit more regularly, a little bit more on time. Unfortunately, there's not a great fix for that. You're probably just going to have to call the bird. They usually don't make it. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Tim says, hey, this is Tim from Ohio. Is it too early for quail to molt? I have I have a hen-only cage with 25 or so. About 15 or so are losing a lot of feathers on their back. I can see no signs of bugs or agnation. Agnation? I don't know. That's probably supposed to be something else, but I don't know what it means. Hang on just one second. No, it's not too early for them to molt. They can molt really any time of the year. I notice it mostly, it seems like changes the seasons. So as we're going into winter and as we're going into spring or summer sometimes, it tends to be when they molt. But, especially if you've got younger chicks that have just hit maturity, sometimes they molt just boom. As soon as they hit sexual maturity, they start molting. I mean, it's weird. It's not too early. It sounds like molting is what you've got going on there. Give them a couple weeks to get over it, and they'll do fine. So Kobe Stone says, please, what causes vibrating in rabbits? I'm not sure what you mean by vibrating in rabbits. Well, like they're shaking? Is that what you're saying? That sounds like nervousness to me, unless there's some kind of illness going on. I don't have a good answer for you, unfortunately. Maybe you can explain that a little bit more. Okay, here we go. We got a little bit more to it. It says, my female rabbit vibrate and die 2 weeks after birth. Can you help me, please? That sounds like an illness of some kind. What you're seeing, the shaking, the vibrating, the shaking is probably, that's just the death pang, so to speak. It's a terrible way to say it, but so there's something wrong. I don't know what it is. There could be a number of different things. You said 2 weeks after giving birth. It could be parasitical. It could be coccidiosis. There we go. That's a parasite. If you process the rabbit after death, like do an autopsy, look for white spots on the liver. That would be a sign that it may be coccidiosis. It could be a lot of different things. There's a whole lot of different things that rabbits could get: snuffles, respiratory issues, all kinds of things. I don't have any way of diagnosing that over like a YouTube and honestly, I don't have any way of diagnosing it. You wouldn't know for sure if it's, unless you like took it to a vet and had testing done and all that, which is probably expensive and prohibitively expensive and not worth doing. If it's just one rabbit, there's not much you can do. Just chalk it up and move on. Unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for you. I'm sorry. I wish I did. Tim says, hey, this is Tim from Ohio. Is it too early for, I already answered that one. Scrap 5000 says, this thing is going to be a lifesaver for me. What thing? What are we talking about? I don't know what we're talking about. I'm a little lost. I'm sorry. George says we're midwinter here at 12 Celsius morning with a forecast top of 21 Celsius. How's that for an Aussie winter? I'm going to look up what those are because I'm a stupid American that doesn't know. Let's see. 21 C to F. Oh, that's like 70 degrees. Yeah, heck, that's pretty good. 12 is 53 degrees. Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually, that's pretty nice. That's like spring here. Buck says, because it is like sandpaper, salt will grind the teeth off. Okay, maybe. I've never heard of that before. But yeah, you may be right. Kobe said, oh, that's the same comment I already responded to. George says, my quail don't molt, Tim. Never seen it happen. Maybe it never gets extremely cold. Never had your quail molt? It happens. It's a fairly regular thing. I'm kind of surprised. Flip Flop Farmer says, what would you do about a stray dog killing your birds? 6 dead layers, 2 cages damaged with 2 more birds injured. Depends. Where do you live? Do you live in town? If you live in town, call animal control and have them, get the stray dog, I guess. If you know whose dog it is, you can talk to the owner and talk to them about it. Put some electric wire around the cage. I've talked about this before, but put a piece of tin foil and spread some peanut butter on it. Fold that over that electric wire about every foot or so. And that dog will come up there and lick that peanut butter and it'll probably never bother your quail again. There's a couple of options you can do. Lenora wants to know if I have any recipes for homemade quail food or a mix to make food last longer. I do not. I've been asked that before, and I just have not been able to find a good way to do that. I talked to Zach from My Shire Farm about that. He didn't have a good solution for that either. So I don't have a good way to do that. I'm sorry. I'm sure you can mix it with other things, but I don't know that it would be. It probably wouldn't be real nutritious for them, so it wouldn't necessarily provide them with everything they need, and you may start running into some other issues. Jacob says rabbits will shake in extreme heat too. Well, it could be an extreme heat issue. You're right. It could be like an overheating issue. I never thought of that. That's a good point. Lenora says, I saw your other video on measurements. Yeah, that was like talking about increasing the protein levels in your quail feed, which, you could still do the same thing. But you're going to have to buy something else to mix into it. Maybe a little cheaper. It may be worth doing. I don't know. You can also look at growing fodder for them, and that will extend your feed because they'll eat some of the fodder, fill up a little bit. So if you're going to look at fodder, I would look at probably like wheat or barley. I think would be probably the two that would be the easiest to do. But just look it up like fodder for, you're probably going to have to look up fodder for chickens because probably not that many stuff on fodder for quail, but you can try fodder for quail. And see, it's not really that hard to grow. It's pretty easy. And it should be cheaper. So you just basically, Find oh, you can do it in nursery trays. I don't have any nursery trays in here right now, but you can do it in nursery trays. Just put your seeds in there, soak them in water probably first, put them in there, and then you can. Oh my goodness, there's a $50 super chat. Let me finish answering this one. I'll get right to that. That's a very generous super chat. Thank you so much. But hang on, we'll get to that real quick. So yeah, fodder. You put your seeds, you soak them, put them in like what do you call it? Nursery tray, probably with a little bit. Oh, we got an ad coming to run for some viewers here in 1 second. I'm going to hold on. I almost got it skipped. I didn't get it skipped. So we'll wait just a second. I don't know if everybody's seeing the ad or not. I just got, I don't know if you guys can still hear me. Let me know. Or if at least to Patrick, because, wait, no, that's who I'm talking to. Lenora. Oh, yep. Jacob's saying you can ferment the feed. So, yeah, Lenora, if you can still hear me, if you're not seeing an ad, let me know so I know to start talking again. Otherwise, I'll just hold on and wait for the ad to play. Get a drink real quick. Okay, I'm guessing there's still the ad playing. Yeah, this new, okay, you can hear me now. Okay, good. We're good. Okay, so the fodder, like I said, look it up. Look how to grow it. It's not that difficult. You can do it in, you got no ad. I had a notification that there was an ad coming up for some viewers. So, all right. So anyway, look it up, how to grow fodder for your rabbits or for your quail or whatever. It's not that difficult to do. You can find information on it pretty easily. So, all right, let me jump to the super chat here. We got Tim Hampton with a $50 super chat. Says, first time I'd be able to catch you live. Your videos have helped me so much. I used 2 of your style hutches that I built. I didn't even have the confidence to raise quail until I watched several of your videos. Thank you for that. Well, you are absolutely welcome. I am very glad to hear that you found the videos helpful. Thank you so much for the super chat. Very generous of you. And I'm glad to hear things are going well. I knew you could do it. You said you didn't have the confidence to raise them, but everybody can do it. So I'm glad that you found the videos, you found them helpful, that you've gotten the information you need, and you've been able to dive in. It sounds like things are going well. So thank you so much. We got Patrick says, to George, I'm in northern Quebec, Canada. My winters are negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit. My rabbit shed lots of fur in the spring. Yeah, mine do too. 340 Quail says, let's see, I have older hens that won't breed with the younger males. There's a bit of aggression towards them. How do I fix that? That's interesting. I don't know that I've ever had that issue. Do you have younger hens? Because just replace your older hens with your younger hens and let them breed. How do you know for sure they're not breeding? I mean, they may be a little aggressive towards them, but have you checked your fertility rates to see? I'm just kind of curious. They may be breeding when you're not paying attention. I don't know. I don't have a good fix. I don't have a way to make them breed with the younger males, but I've never seen an issue like that where they just wouldn't breed with certain males. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, I think I didn't show you my earlier comment about the lifesaver. I saw the comment that says that's a life. I didn't know what you were talking about would be a lifesaver. I saw a comment that said that'll be a lifesaver, but I don't know what we're talking about. So I don't know. You can fill me in and tell me. Jacob says to ferment the feed, make it last longer, fill them up in the process. That's not a bad idea either. Buck says, I've been raising rabbits for 65 years. You're learning all the tricks. Yeah. You've been raising rabbits for 65 years. That's a long time to be raising rabbits. We should be all asking you the questions. Rabbitry 101 says, I'm getting 4 4-hole KW cages and 9 Rex rabbits. So, well, let's see, you're getting 4 4-hole cages. Oh, well, yeah, that's plenty then. So, yeah, congratulations. Hopefully that goes well. Hopefully they're standard Rex and not mini, unless, I don't know, if you want mini Rex, sell them as pets. You can do that. Bill says, came in from feeding the quail. There are does and fawns feeding in the field. Talking about deer, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, I've gotten a few. I haven't checked today, have I? I don't know if I have. Let me check real quick. Check my trail cam. Yeah, this is not going to show up very well, but there's 2 fawns on the trail cam. We'll see if I can show you. from just the other day. They're kind of blurry, but I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Probably pretty bad picture. It doesn't really look that. But two little fawns out there in the field and had a doe right before they came through. There was a doe that came through. So kind of neat to see. All right. Where are you at here? Well, all these, we hear you now. So that was when we were talking about that. Jacob Wolf says, so glad for YouTube Premium. I never have to watch ads, LOL. Yeah, well, that's a great way to do it, I guess. Watch, YouTube Premium. They've done something about I don't know what, they didn't used to run like mid-roll like that all the time, but now they've changed a little bit. I'm guessing it's because there's been a lot of people using like ad blockers, so they're trying to overcome that. I mean, they got to make their money, but who knows? So you may get an ad from time to time. If you got an ad and yours was a Kamala ad. I'm a Republican, so that's odd. I don't know if they may be targeting you, trying to get you to change your mind. Good luck, right? Rabbitry 101 says Tim Hampton is a superhero. I don't know who Tim Hampton is. Am I missing something? Let me do a search on that one real quick because I don't know who that is. Tim Hampton. A musician? The musician Tim Hampton? I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about there with Tim Hampton, but anyway. Then where are we at here? Lenora said, I also got my confidence to raise quail from Chris's videos. Thank you for that, Chris. Well, you are absolutely welcome. SO says we see the brown in the leaves in trees. What now? What are we talking about? Am I lost? I'm missing some comments or something because I'm getting lost on some of these. I don't know where we're going with that. Scrap 5000 says, oh, you see the brown. You're talking about the picture I showed you was what you can see on that. Yeah, it was two little fawns walking through the woods. But anyway, I knew it wasn't going to show up well. I tried, though. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, I think YouTube chat keeps hiding my comment that included the word Amazon. I've been trying to say that a commercial veggie chopper on there by Vinner would be a lifesaver. Oh, okay. Yeah, it may. If you put anything that's like .com or whatever, it's not gonna allow that to go through because it'll look at it and think it's a link, and it doesn't allow you to post links unless you're like a moderator in the channel or something like that. Fat Country says, how's the backyard and did you take care of that tree? Not yet. I'm working on it. I mean, I've taken care of a lot of it, but not all of it. The bulk of the tree is still there. I've just pretty much gotten like back where my pawpaw, my plum trees, where I had a couple of small trees there. Those are taken down, got them all cut up, firewood for the stuff that's suitable for firewood and brush pile for the rest. A lot of downed limbs that I had to kind of cut up. I kind of told the story a little bit earlier, but you probably weren't here, so you missed it. So I've got all that done. That took me I spent about 5 hours working Sunday on it, a couple hours after work Monday and a couple hours after work Tuesday. And so I've got, where the big tree was out in front of it, I've got pretty much all that like small limbs and stuff that all I could cut back and clean up without, it's still up in the air. So I didn't want to, cut the limb that it's leaning on the ground too much, have it fall down on top of me. But I got pretty much all that out there cleaned up and out of the way. Now it's just a matter of working on the tree that's still up in the air right now and getting that taken down. Tim Hampton's LOL. There you are Tim Hampton. Okay. I don't know why. What were we, I don't know what we were talking about. I'm sorry. You are the one. Never mind. I'm completely with you now. You're the one that was okay. I'm sorry. Your contribution, your super chat. I completely forgot your name already. Oh my goodness. It's hard for me to keep up. You guys, there's like a delay between when I say something to when you hear it. So by the time you hear it and you respond, I'm already probably, 30 seconds or more down, in the chats talking to somebody else about something else. And then it's hard for me to keep up. I'm sorry. That's funny though. Probably won't be the worst mix up I ever make. And then all of a sudden, everything stops. All the chat stops. It's probably an ad playing, isn't there? Because nobody's talking right now. Can't get rid of stuff. Aha, there, that worked. Okay, Scrap 5000 says, I get Biden and Kamala ads all day long, and they make me sick to my stomach. Yeah, well, I don't really get any Kamala or Biden ads. I don't know why. I don't. Probably because I watch like fairly conservative content quite a bit. I watch Charlie Kirk or, some of the Daily Wire guys. So they probably just don't advertise to me. I don't know. But I don't actually get any kind of political ads now that I think about it. Not really. It's kind of weird. David says, Tim is the super chat gift. Yeah, I got it. I figured it out now. Buck Reynolds says, I got my first rabbits when I was 10 or 12, and I ain't never quit, and I'm 73. Yeah, that's a while. Scott 5000 says, I didn't even use a .com, just Amazon, and it blocked it. Huh, interesting. I'm sorry to hear that. So it was a veggie chopper by Vinner, huh? I'm going to have to look that up. We'll see what that is. Vinner veggie chopper. A commercial veggie chopper? Is that it? Man, those look... It looks pretty heavy duty. I don't know if that's the same one, but looks pretty heavy duty. So, Tim, I don't know if you knew this, but there's somebody named Tim Hampton that's a musician. But, if you look up my name, my full name, Christopher Douglas Carnes, if you look that up, like do a Google search for it, you come up with there's some guy that was a flamenco guitarist, not flamingo, not like the bird that stands, flamenco, like I think is what it's called, guitarist. It was pretty famous apparently. Had the same exact name as me. Mr. Mata, I think it is, or maybe it's Mata, I don't know, says, I have New Zealand rabbit. She's about 7 months old, and she had her first litter. All were born dead, and she was too young to breed. Yeah, it's probably the case just because she was too young. She was only 7 months old. Give her a month, maybe 2, and then try again, and you're probably going to be just fine. I'm sorry that happened, though. That's unfortunate. Scrap 5000 says, anyway, if anyone spends hours chopping and dicing vegetable for things like sauerkraut, then definitely look into the veggie chopper. It will save you hours of time and so much work. Yeah, it does look pretty nice. I see, what's it about? 80. Well, that's not on Amazon. That's on like Vever's Shop. Vever, I don't know what they're called. Looks like around $80 for the veggie chopper, but it looks sturdy. I mean, it looks like a commercial grade one. Lenora says, growing anything in the garden, I had to put black cloth on the spinach and kale to prevent flowers. Yeah, I mean, I have a garden going. It's a lot smaller than it has been in the past. Tomatoes doing terrible this year, and I just have not had time. I've been so busy, especially now with the tree that came down. We did have a couple of them blown over in the storm. They're okay, but blown over. But I've been hit with blight on the tomatoes, and I was working on trying to get that under control, and I was just having a hard time with it because I just don't, I can't get out there all the time and deal with it. And then the squirrels. We haven't gotten we've gotten 2 or 3 paste tomatoes. But other than that, the squirrels have been coming in and grabbing all the tomatoes. And I cannot get the squirrels under control. I've been trapping them and trapping. I mean, I must have trapped probably 20 of them so far. And there's still, every day, there's a squirrel out there in the garden. So I've had problems with that. I've got, the okra's doing fine. We lost one squash plant. Didn't lose it completely. We got on top of it. Vine borers got to it. So we got on top of it with some BT. And it still seems to be alive, but it's only producing male flowers right now, so I'm not getting anything off of that. And then I got a zucchini plant that's just now getting big enough and starting to produce, it looks like. I've got, cantaloupe and cucumbers planted, and peppers are doing fine. I'm getting peppers out of them. They're doing great. Zucchini, or excuse me, what are we talking about? Cucumber and cantaloupe. They're both doing pretty good. But they were real late starts because I had problems with slugs that ate them all. I mean, as soon as they'd sprout, ate them for like 4 or 5 times. And then finally I got enough slug bait out there and got the slugs under control. and I got them growing, but they were super late, so they're not producing yet. But the plants are doing fine. Flip Flop Farmer says, if I hear her laugh one more time, I might puke. Yeah, I know what you mean. We're talking politics. We're probably pretty safe. I would say most of the people in this group are probably conservative, but not everybody, and that's okay. If you're not conservative, if you're a liberal, if you're what, that's fine. I'm going to disagree with you on a lot of things, but that doesn't mean I dislike you. I don't hate you or anything like that. So don't be offended when we're talking about, conservative things and, our conservative stuff. Don't be upset about that. You can talk your liberal stuff if you want to. R. Farrell says, checking in a little late from Titusville, Florida. Is that it? Well, good to see you. Thanks for making it. Bill says, wonder where I could get rabbits in PA to try them. So check Craigslist. That's probably your best option. I think Facebook kind of doesn't really allow for rabbit or for animal sales in general. So they're kind of hard. I mean, sometimes you'll find some ads on there for animals that they kind of sneak around, they get through, but it doesn't happen very often. So I would say Craigslist is probably your best bet to look, or look for like a 4-H club or something like that through one of the local schools, because they may have, somebody that's raising rabbits there, and that's a good place to check. Or, if you have a fair going on, a county fair or something like that, that would be a good place to go. Scrap 5,000. Oh, wait. Jacob Wolf says to Scrap 5,000, don't feel bad. I got in trouble on Facebook because I was talking about wrestling and mentioned the move suplex and power bomb. Well, Facebook doesn't like power bomb, and it got removed. Yeah, I'm probably going to get some kind of, because of the things I'm saying here, saying stuff you guys are typing. Excuse me. Sucked a piece of dust down my throat. I am over my cold, so that's not it. It's something else. Yeah, but I'll probably get flagged for saying some of these words or something. Anyway, Scrap 5000 says, yep, that's the one, the electric commercial one. It's smaller than it looks, but so might. Yeah, Scrap 5000 says that's ridiculous about you getting in trouble on Facebook. It is. 903 Bulldog says, I'd be eating squirrel. I've thought about it, but I don't mind squirrel. I mean, I like squirrel. I used to squirrel hunt quite a bit. I've eaten a lot of squirrel. I like it, but I'm just a little hesitant about city squirrels for some reason. And it's probably just me. It's probably just my hang up. I just don't like the idea of eating city squirrels. And these are all gray squirrels, so they're all pretty scrawny. There's not much to them. They're not the nice big fox squirrels. Justin says, hey, I'm late. I just wanted to know if you know anything on fruit trees. My fruit tree is turning black from the top down. I don't know a whole lot about that. It sounds like it's probably some kind of fungal infection would be my guess. So you would probably look for, is it a sulfite spray that you would look for? Like, what kind of fruit tree is it, I guess, would be the first thing. And I'm probably not the best source to be able to help you with that, but my guess would be it's fungal. And you would look for some kind of spray. I think it's either copper or sulfur, or maybe both, that you would look for, that you would want to spray it with to kind of inhibit fungus infections. That's my guess right off bat. George says, Facebook's ridiculous. Jacob Wolf, you can't make any comments on anything anymore. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad, isn't it? Lenora says, my tomatoes are not producing fruit. I don't see many bees. Do you see a lot of bees in your area? Yeah, we have some bees around here. Lots of other pollinators too. So I'm not having an issue with them producing fruit. They're producing fruit. Squirrels are getting them. So that's the bad thing. But yeah, you can self-pollinate the tomatoes. Basically, each flower it's a self-pollinating flower. It just needs like a vibration to release the pollen to make it. So like an electric toothbrush or something like that, you can kind of just barely touch it to them to vibrate. That'll mimic the bee or the pollinator coming to the flower, and that will get them to go ahead and pollinate. You can do that and see if that works. Tim says, I'm not Tim Hampton, the musician. I'm a retired electrician. I don't do anything entertaining. When I get a notion to work, I lie down until the notion passes. Yeah, I assumed you weren't the same guy, but you never know. George says, I could call myself an expert. Oh, I wouldn't call myself an expert, Justin Mitchell, but I'd say it's been touched by a white walker and is dying. A white walker? What's a white walker? What is that? Something I should know? Is that some kind of game? That's what comes up whenever I think that's what it is. A game? No, an HBO television series, huh? Okay. I didn't know what that was. You may be right, I guess. I don't know. Rabbitry 101 says, hey, I'm from Canada and I have a question. Am I from Canada? What? I'm from Canada and I have a question. Am I from Canada? I don't know. I don't know what you're asking me exactly. A little lost on that one. Jacob says to George, for sure, last time I got in trouble for talking about my RX 590 Fat Boy GPU on my computer, it got removed, and I was warned about bullying. Like, we'll tell the company FX not to name it. So yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all AI is all it is. It's trying to catch that stuff, and it sees that and it thinks you're trying to give somebody, insult somebody. So George clarifying, that's from Game of Thrones. George says, I'm more libertarian than conservative. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of libertarian things I can and I used to think of myself more as a libertarian, but I really kind of fall more conservative now that I look into it a little bit more. There's some libertarian stuff that I don't necessarily agree with, but that's okay. Like I said, you can be totally liberal and be here, and I'm okay with that. Just realize we're going to disagree on a lot of things, but that's okay. We can disagree and still be friends. Patrick says, have you tried mothballs for squirrels? Works pretty good up here with chipmunks. Boy, that'd be a lot of mothballs, I would think. But no, I haven't tried that. I'm focusing on the, there's more. I'm focusing on the trapping and stuff right now, trying to thin out the numbers because there's just too many. If I've trapped 20 squirrels, like in the last 3 weeks, and there's still squirrels every day in my yard, there's too many. They need to be thinned out. I live in town. I mean, I don't live out in the middle of nowhere, Anyhow, David says Facebook should get better. Zucker got red pilled. I saw that. Saw something about that. I'll have to look at that up and get a little bit more in detail about that. Oh my goodness, we're almost out of time, aren't we? We got like 8 minutes here. Jacob says, Chris, get your pellet gun and out and take care of them squirrels. I'm having the biggest problem with that thing. I don't know what it is. I've got a Gammo Whisper, Swarm. It's got the magazine it's a break barrel spring loaded gun, right? And I've got a target, like a little metal target. It's about that big around out there. It's a swinging target kind of thing out there right on my fence. So I can stand in my garage door, the door out to the backyard, and I can hit that target with that pellet gun. I cannot hit a squirrel. I swear, I don't know what it is. I cannot get it. They're about the same distance away, everything, and it just cannot hit them with that for some reason. And I'm a good shot. I mean, I know how to shoot, but that, spring guns are a little bit difficult anyway. I do have another pellet rifle, and it works just fine. I have a lot easier time hitting targets with it because it's not a spring gun, it's a pump. But you got to pump it up like 10 times to get a squirrel. So, when the squirrel's out there and you're trying to pump this thing up in time, it's like he's gone by the time you get it pumped up. What I need to invest in is some CB caps for my 22, which is technically illegal, but as long as I'm careful, make sure the back drops a tree, nobody'd know. Lenora says, thanks, Chris. Well, you are absolutely welcome. Rabbitry 101 says, I'm eating alligators. I live in the middle of nowhere. Well, nice. I've had alligator before. Lenora says, do you have a lot of flies around your quail cages? I mean, yeah, there's flies around it. It's not a ton of flies, but they're there. I would say if you're having a big fly problem, look at those, those bag fly traps. They get really nasty, but they catch a lot of flies. That would help quite a bit too. Justin says, I planted a serviceberry plant hoping for it to make it through the winter. I don't know where you live, but those are native to our area. So yeah, as long as you get it established, in our area anyway, it handles our winters just fine. David says, buy your squirrels armor plates. Buy the squirrels armor plates? What? Well, I'm not sure why I would want to do that, but okay. Lenora says, I use a high power water gun. I fill with garlic oil and raccoons hate it. Oh, I can imagine. Rabbit Shoot 101 says, I'm watching. What are we watching? I don't know. Patrick says, got to go. Have a nice day or evening, y'all. You too. Thanks for joining us. We got about 5 minutes left. Justin says, North Iowa. It gets cold. I don't know. Are serviceberry, is that native to your area? Oh, there's a Canadian serviceberry. Looks like it's from Maine to Georgia. Yeah, it should be. It should be plenty hardy. Rapture says, I'm watching you vid through what? I need somebody to leave a comment so that will move up so I can read it. I'm watching you vid through something vending machine. I'm watching you vid through a vending machine. I don't know. You're losing me. You're confusing the heck out of me. G. Michael Jr. says, what do service berries taste like? I have no idea. I've actually never eaten one. Don't know anything about it. Desert Homestead says, read. Rabbitry says, sorry, typos. I'm so confused. I'm lost on some of this stuff. It's possible that I misread some things. I got to get to the eye doctor because I've got scratches in these glasses. They're getting hard to see through, but I haven't been to the eye doctor in a while, and we got new insurance, so I got to set up a new eye. Anyway, I need to get to the eye doctor before I order new glasses, and I desperately need new glasses. So if I'm misreading things, I apologize. Tim says, I watched a raccoon grab the electric wire on my quail hutch the other night. Now, that was entertaining. Yeah, I can believe that. And then Justin says it tastes like a mix between blueberry and grape. I like the blueberry idea. I'm not a huge grape fan, but, I don't know. Sounds okay. I've never eaten one. I'm familiar with them because every time they do like a free tree giveaway around here, serviceberry is always one of the options. I think I actually planted one at one time, but it didn't get established. Oh, he only typed read so the comments would scroll up. Okay, thank you. Sorry. It was confusing to me. I'm like, read what? What did I miss? Rabbitry said, I'm sorry, man. I was saying that I am at a vendor watching your live. You have a lot of good info. Oh, okay. I got you. Now I'm with you. You're at a vendor, though, huh? Okay. Maybe so for work, I'm assuming. I don't know. Lenora says, thank you all for all your helpful information. Chris, have a good evening, everyone. Well, you too. Thank you for joining me tonight. Probably getting pretty close to wrapping this one up. We got about 2 minutes left, and looks like the chat's starting to die off a little bit. So may go ahead and just call this one for the evening. And then we'll see you guys hopefully next week. I don't have any reason to think I won't be here next week. So until then, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining me. And as always, God bless.